One of the world's most violent cartels.
The Drug Enforcement Administration has recently announced a significant blow against one of Earth's most ruthless criminal organizations. This remarkable effort by federal agents marks the largest crackdown on organized crime in several decades, specifically aiming at 3,000 members of the infamous Sinaloa and CJNG groups. Within a mere few months, an astonishing figure of over 3,000 individuals have been apprehended throughout the United States, marking it as the biggest federal raid in American history. The Drug Enforcement Administration hails this operation as a monumental triumph against the powerful Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation cartels. These criminal enterprises stand accused of inundating America's streets with highly perilous illicit drugs. Yet as these sweeping raids progressed, a profoundly unsettling narrative started to emerge. It was a revelation so shocking it left even the most seasoned agents in utter disbelief. The reason for their astonishment was simple. Some of the individuals being taken into custody were not hardened cartel foot soldiers. Instead, they included local sheriffs, diligent border inspectors, and even federal law enforcement officers. These were the very individuals who had sworn an oath to safeguard the nation, yet were now implicated in its systemic corruption and endangerment. We witnessed Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez entering the Homeland Security Investigations Office only to be apprehended mere moments later. This evening, we reveal the chilling truth of how America's war against these cartels unexpectedly turned its focus inward. It's a comprehensive campaign that laid bare deep-seated corruption, led to the militarization of our borders, and posed a critical, lingering question over every single badge. When criminal cartels can compromise law enforcement, who truly remains to protect the innocent? This intricate story began to unfold subtly several months prior to making any public headlines. Within the confines of the Drug Enforcement Administration's Los Angeles Field Division, dedicated analysts meticulously examined wiretaps, deciphered encrypted chats, and scrutinized bank ledgers that spanned from unassuming strip malls in California all the way to distant chemical suppliers in Shanghai, China. The list of targets was staggering, encompassing two formidable cartels, the Sinaloa and the Jalisco New Generation. By August of 2025, the accumulated data unmistakably indicated a consistent and disturbing pattern. This pattern revealed identical stash houses operating in 23 cities across the United States, all channeling illicit money, illegal weapons, and dangerous pills through the very same network of shell import firms. This discovery prompted federal agents to initiate a massive operation they codenamed the Surge. This extensive operation, officially dubbed a Drug Enforcement Administration Surge, resulted in the substantial seizure of illicit drugs, an array of firearms, and significant amounts of cash. At precisely 4 o'clock in the morning on August 25th, multiple convoys of agents were deployed simultaneously across the entire nation. In Long Beach, California, a shipping container deceptively labeled medical supplies concealed a staggering 480 kilograms of synthetic powder, 7,469 kilograms of white snow, and 420 firearms meticulously stashed within hidden compartments. Simultaneously, in Phoenix, helicopters could be seen hovering discreetly above suburban residences, which were found to be covertly functioning as illegal pill-pressing laboratories. By the conclusion of that week, 617 suspects with proven links to the Sinaloa cartel were successfully taken into custody, and millions in both cash and illegal coke were confiscated. Just 3 weeks subsequent, the operation transitioned into its second phase, focusing on the Jalisco strike. Between September 22nd and 26th, specialized task forces from the Drug Enforcement Administration and Homeland Security executed raids on CJNG warehouses located across Texas, Florida, Illinois, and California. Once the operations concluded, hundreds of individuals were in custody, and a staggering $48 million in drugs, weapons, and various assets were successfully seized. The Drug Enforcement Administration officially announced on a Monday that from August 25th to 29th, agents successfully apprehended 617 individuals connected to the cartel across 23 U.S. field divisions. However, this extensive operation wasn't confined solely to U.S. territory. It was a highly classified international mission meticulously planned and executed over many months. The success of the mission demanded exceptional elite-level skills and, crucially, strict adherence to a need-to-know basis to prevent any leaks that could forewarn their targets. This intricate multi-agency operation necessitated the active participation and cooperation of foreign partners in both Central America and Europe, each contributing their essential part. Working in perfect sync, they simultaneously froze numerous financial accounts and intercepted critical shipments. According to officials, the overarching message was unambiguous. The United States was now capable of confronting and striking these cartels as a unified, coordinated front. Every single kilogram of poison confiscated and every dollar seized from these cartels directly translates into lives spared and communities protected, asserted Drug Enforcement Administration Administrator Terrence Cole to the press following the successful operation. However, he also issued a stern warning. What the public had witnessed, the dramatic flashing lights and published mugshots, merely revealed the tip of the iceberg of a far-reaching ongoing campaign silently progressing behind the scenes. For the Drug Enforcement Administration, this achievement transcended a mere record haul. It served as irrefutable evidence that the agency maintained its capability to operate and strike on a global scale, even amidst a period where synthetic powder overdoses had tragically soared to unprecedented levels within the United States. Tragically, more than 150 Americans lose their lives daily due to overdoses directly linked to fentanyl and other deadly synthetic opioids. Los Angeles quickly transformed into the central command hub, with analysts diligently tracking shipments and agents orchestrating coordinated raids stretching from the sunny coasts of California all the way to Connecticut. Every single arrest was meticulously recorded onto a shared digital map, with red markers steadily proliferating across the screen until the entire nation seemed to glow, illustrating the immense scale of this unprecedented campaign. By October, the total number of arrests had surpassed 3,000, a figure officials proudly lauded as concrete evidence of their success, even as the subsequent phase of the operation propelled the campaign beyond the conventional boundaries of law enforcement and squarely into the realm of national security. These arrest figures specifically included 64 individuals apprehended in Connecticut, 49 in Massachusetts, 33 in New Hampshire, 11 in Maine, 10 in Rhode Island, and 3 in Vermont. Yet despite Washington's celebratory mood over its declared victory, a more ominous and troubling truth began to emerge for investigators. For concealed behind the impressive statistics of seizures and arrests, a different kind of conflict was silently taking shape. This subtle warfare wasn't waged with firearms, but rather through meticulous ledgers and intricate wire transfers. Executing an operation of this magnitude is incredibly challenging, and its success was primarily due to a pivotal decision made in early 2025 by the Trump administration. They concluded that mere arrests were simply insufficient. The cartels, it was determined, had transcended being mere criminal networks. They were formally designated as foreign terrorist organizations. Moments after stepping into the Oval Office, President Trump signed an executive order initiating the formal process of classifying drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. The official notification explicitly named some of Mexico's most formidable cartels, notably the Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco New Generation cartel. This pivotal decision also specifically listed the Salvadoran MS-13 gang and the Venezuelan Tren de Aragua gang, a strategic move that granted the Pentagon unprecedented authority to collaborate with the Drug Enforcement Administration, Homeland Security, and the Department of Justice. During a White House briefing, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth characterized this as a comprehensive whole-of-government counterterrorism campaign, emphasizing that if cartels choose to function as insurgents, they would be met with an equivalent response. Therefore, our unwavering message to these foreign terrorist organizations is unequivocally clear: we will engage with you just as we have engaged with Al-Qaeda. We will locate you, meticulously map your operational networks, relentlessly pursue you, and ultimately eliminate you. Privately, this singular decision dramatically altered the entire strategic landscape. For the very first time, the U.S. Northern Command received authorization to furnish crucial intelligence conduct, thorough surveillance, and even offer restricted operational support to task forces from the Drug Enforcement Administration and Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Furthermore, the Department of Justice is actively broadening a specialized task force nationwide, intensifying efforts to combat pervasive human trafficking and illicit smuggling activities. Attorney General Pam Bondi declared today that Joint Task Force Alpha is now poised to extend its operational scope further north. The southern border was rapidly transformed into a heavily militarized zone, characterized by overlapping jurisdictions where soldiers, federal agents, and local police operated under a unified directive to disrupt, dismantle, and neutralize any threats. From that precise moment onward, drug enforcement transcended mere policing. It evolved into a comprehensive war plan. The Department of War will not merely degrade or just conduct arrests, stated Pete Hegseth. Our mission is to utterly defeat and dismantle these terrorist organizations to safeguard our homeland and protect the American people. As the Pentagon's engagement grew more profound, the campaign strategy shifted dramatically, evolving from localized regional raids to synchronized national strikes of immense scale. These two formidable cartels, Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation, were targeted simultaneously across 23 U.S. field divisions and 7 international regions. America's aggressive stance against the cartels had now become official government policy, and consequently, the list of targets expanded to a truly global scale. Months before the raids even commenced, diligent investigators had been systematically compiling critical intelligence regarding the intricate structural operations of these cartels, with a particular focus on CJNG. What they discovered was an unprecedented and unique organizational structure. David Saucedo, a seasoned Mexico-based journalist and security analyst, commented that CJNG's operational framework was unlike anything previously encountered, and federal authorities understood that the true strength of the Jalisco New Generation cartel did not lie in overt street-level confrontations, unlike many other cartels. Instead, their formidable power resided deep within their sophisticated supply chain. By the time the demand for synthetic powder surged dramatically across the United States, CJNG was already well prepared with an established operational framework. They had meticulously studied the Sinaloa cartel, often regarded as the original gangster of synthetic powder distribution, thereby acquiring all the necessary knowledge and resources. Their arsenal included well-established shipping routes, reliable chemical suppliers, complicit port officials, and a sophisticated network of chemists capable of transforming precursor powders into billions of dollars worth of deadly synthetic drugs. The Drug Enforcement Administration, alongside the investigative organization Insight Crime, asserts that the cartel's influence stems significantly from its iron-fisted control over critical Pacific ports such as Manzanillo, Lázaro Cárdenas. These particular ports are far from ordinary. They serve as vital entry points for the influx of chemical precursors predominantly shipped from China and India. These incoming shipments are cunningly mislabeled as industrial solvents or common cleaning agents, yet hidden within them are the fundamental components fueling America's most devastating drug epidemic. Within clandestine superlabs cunningly concealed across Jalisco, Colima, and Michoacan, subcontracted chemists meticulously blend these imported chemicals, fabricating vast quantities of fentanyl and methamphetamine. I've visited numerous narco labs previously, but I can genuinely say I've never witnessed anything quite like this, remarked a veteran agent. He highlighted the astonishing amounts of pure fentanyl being manufactured on a daily basis. It's an opioid akin to heroin, but with a potency that is 50 times greater, he clarified. Subsequently, traffickers transport this lethal product northward, employing a variety of methods including tractor-trailers, commercial shipping containers, and even discreet private couriers, cleverly camouflaging the illicit cargo as legitimate goods ranging from fresh produce to consumer electronics. Los Angeles International Airport, notoriously recognized as the global epicenter for drug trafficking. Concealed within the hundreds of thousands of bags that transit through this bustling airport daily are illegal narcotics effortlessly evading security protocols and being dispatched to destinations across the globe. CJNG functions with the chilling efficiency of a multinational corporation boasting specialized departments for logistics, financial operations, recruitment, and enforcement. However, its primary product is deadly poison, and its profits are cruelly quantified in human lives extinguished. A single Drug Enforcement Administration report calculated that merely 1 kilogram of synthetic powder, which costs less than $4,000 to manufacture, can generate street profits exceeding $1 million once it is illicitly pressed into counterfeit pills. This is a chilling business model fundamentally constructed upon widespread addiction, rapid scalability, and ultimately death. Crucially, no agricultural land is required to cultivate its base ingredients. It is entirely synthetic. This makes it incredibly simple and inexpensive to produce, enabling it to be cooked in virtually any location. And CJNG operates not in isolation. The Sinaloa cartel, which historically held sway over other hazardous narcotics, was instrumental in forging the very market for these synthetic drugs. Working in concert, these two powerful criminal organizations have transformed synthetic powder into not only the most lucrative narcotic in modern history, but also arguably the deadliest. Every single seizure made at the border represented far more than mere evidence. It served as a stark calculation of the countless lives that these deadly kilos could potentially have claimed. For the Drug Enforcement Administration, this grim reality provided the unequivocal justification for escalating their efforts. If CJNG chose to operate its criminal empire with the structure and authority of a sovereign state, then the United States had no alternative but to respond with the full force of a nation-state. While federal agents forcefully breached doors during raids, another crucial battlefront of this war unfolded with quiet determination. What we're accomplishing at the FBI is fundamentally straightforward. It certainly doesn't involve rocket science, stated one agent. Our strategy is to meticulously track the money. Funds, unlike people, never deceive. And that's precisely the approach needed to dismantle this intricate web of organized criminal thugs, violent gangbangers, and yes, what we must acknowledge as domestic terrorists, because that is precisely what they represent. Deep within the United States Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, known as FinCEN, expert analysts diligently traced every financial transaction. These analysts uncovered billions in cartel profits laundered through complex U.S. real estate transactions, high-end luxury car imports, and numerous shell corporations discreetly registered in states like Delaware and Nevada. The shocking reality was that these cartels were exploiting everyday American citizens to inadvertently aid in the destruction of their very own nation. A specific couple stands accused of engaging in extensive money laundering and illicitly smuggling oil into the U.S. from Mexican cartels, with the value of these operations exceeding $300 million. The methodology they employed was executed with an almost surgical precision. Cash gathered in major cities like Los Angeles or Houston was covertly wired through shell companies based in Miami, cleverly disguised as legitimate consulting fees. It was then funneled into overseas cryptocurrency exchanges before being reintroduced into the financial system as seemingly legitimate investment capital. By the moment these funds arrived in an American bank account, they were effectively laundered and appeared completely legitimate. Alarming global connections were unveiled after a monumental money laundering bust, with authorities linking Mexico's notorious Sinaloa drug cartel directly to a clandestine Chinese banking network operating in Southern California. Investigators made a shocking discovery. Some of the very same bank accounts used to finance cartel logistical operations were also making payments to local contractors, political campaign donors, and even vendors for police unions. Although on paper these transactions appeared to be perfectly legal, they were more than sufficient to trigger serious red flags within the FBI's specialized Public Corruption Unit. To federal prosecutors, this intricate financial shadow network provided a chilling explanation for how criminal organizations managed to purchase loyalty from within the very institutions designed to thwart them. Bribes, it became evident, were no longer appearing as mere cash in unmarked envelopes. Instead, they were cleverly disguised as legitimate contracts, property transactions, and even political campaign donations. When the subsequent wave of arrests commenced implicating local sheriffs, customs officers, and even Border Patrol agents, it became undeniably clear that this infiltration was no longer merely a theoretical possibility. The undeniable money trail had led directly to law enforcement badges. He arrived at the location in his official uniform, anticipating a standard routine meeting, but is now facing serious charges of conspiracy to commit racketeering. The initial breakthrough in this complex investigation originated from a casino located in Florida. In early 2025, agents from the Federal Bureau of Investigation formally unsealed a racketeering case against Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez, a respected law enforcement officer now accused of operating a clandestine, multi-million-dollar gambling empire in collaboration with cartel financiers. According to investigators, Lopez allegedly amassed as much as $700,000 in illicit cash bribes, not via digital transfers or checks, but through physical envelopes and briefcases brimming with currency. These substantial funds reportedly originated from Krishna Deokaran, a casino operator whom prosecutors accuse of laundering Sinaloa cartel cash through a network of internet cafes across Florida. Investigators further revealed that Deokaran managed the operations of these illicit sites, while Lopez actively shielded the Osceola location, acting as a silent partner who received a 10% cut of the illegal earnings. Lopez not only assured protection, but even presented his criminal associate with an honorary deputy badge, a symbolic gesture of impunity. "You'll be safe," he confidently texted, adding, "I'll be your sheriff." Indeed, for several years, he fulfilled that promise until Patel made the crucial decision to cooperate, providing a trove of incriminating text messages, photographs, and detailed payment records that shattered the entire case wide open. The ramifications of this scandal, however, did not cease there. Just 2 months subsequent to Lopez's arrest, his estranged wife, Robin Severance Lopez, was also apprehended and taken into custody. Breaking tonight, the wife of the suspended Osceola County Sheriff is also now behind bars, reported a newscaster. Robin Lopez was arrested earlier today in Harmony, and video footage from Homeland Security confirms her detainment. She is confronting charges of conspiracy to utilize or invest proceeds derived from racketeering activities. While officially her enterprise appeared to be a legitimate cleaning company, prosecutors revealed that in actuality, it served as a front to ensure the continued flow of illicit bribe money even as her husband remained incarcerated. As the complex Florida case continued to unravel, the identical pattern of corruption resurfaced along the nation's border. In El Paso, Customs and Border Protection Officer Manuel Perez Jr. faced accusations of deliberately allowing vehicles heavily laden with undocumented migrants and illegal narcotics to pass freely through his inspection lane. Legal documents reveal that Perez collaborated with smugglers for over 2 years, leveraging his federal credentials as an impenetrable shield against detection. Consequently, he now faces the prospect of decades behind bars. According to court documents, between December of 2023 and February of this current year, 32-year-old Manuel Perez Jr. from El Paso allegedly engaged in and attempted the smuggling of undocumented migrants into the United States, all for financial gain. In California, 2 additional Customs and Border Protection officers, Jesse Clark Garcia and Diego Bonilla, confessed to providing assistance to a sophisticated Mexican trafficking network. These officers utilized cryptic emoji codes to instruct smugglers on which inspection lanes to approach, thereby enabling vehicles packed with deadly illicit substances to pass through without impediment. Over a period of time, investigators reported that this corrupt duo facilitated the entry of over 1,100 pounds of narcotics into the United States. At San Ysidro, renowned as the nation's busiest border crossing, officers Farlis Almonte and Ricardo Rodriguez were formally charged with accepting bribes to permit vehicles filled with migrants to pass through without thorough inspection. Upon apprehending, Almonte agents discovered almost $70,000 in cash in his possession. His girlfriend was subsequently intercepted attempting to transport the illicit payoff money back to Tijuana. This was followed by a case that sent shockwaves even through seasoned veterans of border enforcement. Former Inspector Leonard Darnell George, who had once been a highly regarded officer, was ultimately convicted of accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes to facilitate the passage of narcotics and migrants through his designated inspection lane. A jury found 41-year-old Leonard George guilty on 4 separate counts. Prosecutors stated that he had accepted over $400,000 in bribes, directly enabling smugglers to transport illegal drugs and undocumented migrants through his assigned inspection lane. Yet the apprehension of these individuals failed to halt the pervasive corruption. Merely months later, Operation Valley Takedown revealed another shocking truth. Border Patrol agent Alexander Grinley was accused of trafficking deadly substances while actively on duty. Prosecutors emphatically stated that Grinley was not simply aiding smugglers. He was an active participant, an integral part of their criminal enterprise. Corruption severely compromises the very integrity of our border security and represents a dire threat to public safety, declared U.S. Attorney Tara McGrath. She stressed, when those entrusted with our protection become entangled in complicity, it jeopardizes the well-being of every single citizen. Notably, a U.S. Border Patrol agent was among those apprehended for alleged involvement in methamphetamine trafficking. Across 3 major states, Florida, Texas, and California, investigators consistently uncovered the same incriminating hallmarks: the lure of easy money, the use of encrypted communications, and the clandestine exchange of allegiance for financial gain. The clear distinction between those who enforce the law and those who break it had become alarmingly blurred, making it impossible to draw a definitive line. As the cascade of headlines continued to mount, an even more unsettling truth began to crystallize. These incidents were not merely isolated acts of betrayal. Rather, they were clear indicators of a systemic failure pushed dangerously beyond its breaking point. Initially, when the very first arrest dominated news headlines, federal spokespeople were quick to dismiss them as isolated incidents, just a few bad apples and nothing more. Yet, within the Specialized Public Corruption Unit of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the raw data presented a starkly different narrative. Beginning in 2023, a minimum of 29 law enforcement officers, ranging from county sheriffs to federal border patrol agents, have been formally indicted on charges connected to cartel activities. The trajectory of these corruption cases was not stabilizing. On the contrary, it was steadily escalating. Analysts meticulously trace this surge in corruption back to a recurring pattern: swift expansion of personnel, insufficient oversight, and financial transactions moving at a pace far outstripping accountability mechanisms. Following the 2025 Emergency Directive, Homeland Security rapidly recruited thousands of new border agents in under a single year. Consequently, the issuance of background check waivers, temporary security clearances, and swift emergency postings became standard operating procedure. Concurrently, state and local law enforcement departments, already grappling with rampant narcotics-related violence, accepted federal grants specifically allocated for drug interdiction efforts. This influx brought with it more operational cash, increased overtime hours, heightened pressure, and disturbingly greater opportunities for ethical compromise. When internal affairs agents attempted to implement stricter audits, they uncovered alarming discrepancies, missing case files, encrypted mobile devices, and inexplicable deposits into departmental pension funds. It became evident that the cartels had advanced beyond merely bribing individuals. They had mastered the art of systematically corrupting the very bureaucracy itself. In Texas, a brave whistleblower recounted how supervisory personnel deliberately disregarded explicit warnings concerning a colleague who was accepting money from a cartel. An internal affairs report from Arizona brought to light distressing evidence of trafficking investigations that were deliberately suppressed and concealed, allegedly to shield influential political donors. Disturbingly, even political campaign finance records started appearing in federal indictments, establishing connections between shell companies and political candidates who ran on law and order platforms. For both the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Pentagon, the central challenge had evolved beyond merely devising strategies to combat the cartels. The critical question now was how to prevent this war from fundamentally eroding and weakening the very institutions engaged in the fight. By the close of 2025, congressional analysts had coined a new stark term to describe this phenomenon: institutional fatigue. The system faced an overwhelming number of fronts, critically lacked sufficient safeguards, and contended with an adversary that had become adept at exploiting both of these vulnerabilities. While the raids achieved their immediate objectives, they also starkly revealed a system pushed to its absolute breaking point. As the pace of arrests began to decelerate and new investigations proliferated, a sense of crisis deepened. A profound and unsettling question now overshadowed Washington's triumphant celebrations. What if the true and most perilous battlefield was in fact located within the very agencies sworn to protect the nation? The public's faith in the badge was always presumed to be unyielding. Yet after 3,000 arrests and the exposure of dozens of compromised officers, what becomes of a society when the critical demarcation between justice and raw survival dissolves? If the very foundation of the system begins to fracture? Internally, who then remains to uphold the shield of protection? Feel free to share your thoughts and perspectives with us in the comments section below. And for more in-depth analyses and compelling stories like this, remember to subscribe to our channel. You can also click on any of the cards currently displayed on your screen to explore more of our content. If you find this content interesting, please like and leave a comment. This video is from the Ice Raid Log. Thank you for watching.